Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday, February 25th at 2:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm April Davis with April Davis Creations, and this is my weekly to-go class. It's a free class, and if you're interested in getting the kit, once you see how I've created these cards, if you want to get the kit for free, then I do send that to you for free with an online order, and I'll go over where that information is in just a second. In the meantime, I want to update you on a number of items that are going on this month or that are getting ready to end this month. This is February the 25th, and I can't believe February is almost over. January went so fast and February is almost gone. I don't know how that's happening. So I'm looking up here at my computer. I want to switch screens with you for just a second, and I'll stay here with you. But I wanted to share with you a couple things that are going on. Number one, this is the last week for Celebration. Celebration has been going on since the 1st of January. I'm going to cough, excuse me. I have my water. But the remnants of my cold. But I did want to share with you that this is the last week for Celebration. So what's fun about this last week is it's sad that it's the last week of Celebration, but there's a number of really fun things going on. For example, I am running my mystery box special. And that means any orders that you place this week that are qualifying orders, $50, $100, $150, you're going to get a mystery box from me for free filled with equal amounts of product. So if you place a $50 order, you're going to get $50 worth of product. If you place $100 worth of order, you're going to get $100 worth of free product. Simply from my way of saying thank you for supporting me. I've got lots and lots of fun goodies that I want to share with all of you. So this is the perfect way to do it. It's the end of the month. It's the end of Celebration. And if you happen to place that $60 order, which is where Celebration starts, you're going to get the $50 mystery box from me. But then you also get to go shopping in the Celebration flyer and select items from Celebration. Now I'm going to bring up another screen. We also have last chance products, deeply discounted. So we're getting ready for our new catalog that's coming out in May, and there's a lot of items that are either going to be retired or they're not going to replenish the inventory, and they've discounted a number of them. I'm actually featuring them, or some of them, some of my favorites on my Facebook page. So you can see various cards that I've made with these products, but look at how some of these products have been discounted. For example, this stamp set normally sells for $18. Last chance, $9, 50% discount. As you scroll through, you're going to find some of them are last chance, not discounted, but then there's others that are last chance cardstock. Normally $12, sells for $7.20. So I went ahead and put this in. There's a link to the last chance products in my Facebook. If you go out to April Davis Creations Stamping, you'll get to my Facebook page, and you can look for some items there. And I even did a quick video just to share with you some of my favorites, and again to share with you some of the cards that I've been making over the past few months. So not only do you have these last chance products that you could go shopping with, all of this adds up to that $50 or that $60, and then you get even more. You get a mystery box, you get Celebration items. So if you're going to shop, this is the week to shop in, and everything ends February 28th, which is this Friday. So I wanted to be able to share that with you. I am going to come up now to my website, and I'm going to actually switch screens here in just a second, but I want to show you something. So if you go to my website, aprildaviscreations.com, I think I've got it right here, aprildaviscreations.com, and you go to classes and clubs, There's information on the to-go class, which is what I'm doing right now. It's a to-go class. There's information on the Create Happiness Club, and then there's information on the Crafting Happiness Monthly Card Club. So let me bring in my desktop, and I'm back to Create Happiness Club. Create Happiness Club. Remember, that's the Avid Crafter one. Bi-monthly. You're going to receive a package of the Designer Series paper. You're going to receive a package of the Sunny Day Iridescent Dots. You're going to receive a package of the Baker's Twine Essential Pack. And then you're going to be able to make 11 cards. These are a one sheet wonder card. So you're getting a full package of Designer Series paper. One sheet of paper will make you 11 cards. So I'm just going to go through these really quickly since I've already done this once and you guys didn't get a chance to see it. The cards are so fun, and you'll have a lot of fun utilizing the Designer Series paper. So you're going to be able to make lots and lots of cards with this. You will receive a written tutorial, normally with the Create Happiness Club, because these are more involved cards. I do a video tutorial, but I'm not doing a video tutorial for this one because we're doing the one sheet wonder, and I'm giving you a written tutorial, and these are simpler cards. There's just more of them, right? Okay, back to the Create Happiness Club. This is that monthly subscription club. When you subscribe to this, you receive a kit to your door every single month. It's auto payment. You're going to receive 1/2 package of this floral and gingham vellum. You're going to receive a bolt of the white ribbon. You're going to receive a package of the party dots. And then the cards that you're going to be making, you'll receive a tutorial to show you how to make these 4 cards. And you'll have enough in your kit to make 8 cards. So it's 4 cards times 2. Additionally, you're going to need the Memorable Blooms kit. This Memorable Blooms bundle. So you've got your rubber stamps that will come with it, and then you've got all of your dies that are going to come with it as well. So that's what you've got for the March Create Happiness Club. And I'm going to come back up here for just a second, and I'm just going to share with you again the to-go class is here. This is when you place an order in my online store. You'll get the kit to make. We've got 3 cards, 2 of each card. You're going to receive everything you need. The only thing that I can't do is stamping, so you're going to need the Darling Dinos Bundle, and I'll show you that in just a second. Create Happiness Club, everything is here for the Create Happiness Club, so you can check that out. And then the Crafting Happiness Monthly Card Club, the information is here for that. So, phew, sorry, I had to do a double take on that. I didn't realize I hadn't switched screens. So let me come back up. I'm going to take myself down. And we are now going to talk about the cards that we're going to be doing today. I love this set, the Darling Dino set. Let me show you just a few cards because I'll forget at the end. But let me show you just a few cards that we are going to, that I've made with the Darling Dinos, or have been made by others using the Darling Dinos. So I did a card swap earlier in the year, and this was one of the Darling Dinos cards. This was another one that was created for a swap. And then, of course, we've got this one. So how fun are those? All of them fun. And then this was another swap card that somebody else had done. I don't have a name on this one, but somebody else had done this one, and she paired up the 2 dinos chatting with each other. So let's look at the ones that we're doing today because they're equally as fun. So I'm going to bring those in. And we have our Brontosaurus that we're going to be working on. And this is a fun card because it's more like a fun fold. So we're going to go over that one. Then we have this card that we're going to do. I think this is the Stegosaurus. Is that right? And so this is a fun fold card as well. And then I've got a card that features all 3 of them, the Brontosaurus, the Stegosaurus, and the Tyrannosaurus Rex. So we're going to have fun creating these fun cards, and we are actually utilizing the Toadstool Garden Designer Series paper. And the Total Garden Designer Series paper is just a fun paper, lots and lots of colors, and it paired up so well with the Darling Dinos. Let me see if I've got this in right. So this is the front of these papers. And then I'm going to flip it over, and we've got some fun stripes and leaves and designs on the back. All right, so let me move these out of the way, and we're going to go ahead and get started with this. All right, so the first one we're going to make is the Brontosaurus card. So that's how I'm going to refer to them as by what they are. Let me move some stuff around so that I can get to it. So let me pull the skid out. And on this one, we're using the fresh freesia paper. I've got some markings on this so that I can make sure I get this cut correctly for you. We've got a basic white for the inside of the card. We've got a piece of Designer Series paper that we're going to utilize. Then we have another label that was cut out of the Everyday Arches stamp set. In this particular stamp set, or the bundle, if you get the dies for this, so fun because there's lots and lots of arches here. And then of course the stamps fit into the arches, but I opted to use that to make my arch for this card. I've got, let me see, I'm going to pull out the rest of this. I've got a piece of cardstock so that I can stamp my dinosaur. I also have some paper. I want to use my mushroom or my toadstool as a stopper. And then I took some scraps and made the grass that I wanted. I've got a cloud that I actually die cut from the Bright Skies stamp set. Lots of clouds here, raindrops, sunshine, but I utilized this cloud because I wanted to have a cloud for my card, and I think that's it. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to get things cut the way that they need to be cut. So let me start here, and this sheet of cardstock is 11 inches. And what I've done is I've scored it at 4 1/4 and I've scored it at 8 1/2. So when I put it into my score tool, I scored it at 8 1/4 and 8 1/2. Now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to take those markings off with my eraser so that I don't have to worry about them, but I wanted to make sure that I could tell you how this was being scored. The other thing that I've got, this mark that I have here is 1 1/4. Basically what you're going to do is we're going to angle off this card so you can see how the card is angled off here. So basically what I did is I measured over 1 1/4 and cut to the corner. So let me show you how I did that. So I measured in on my ruler 1 1/4. You can see it here, or maybe you can see it here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 1 1/4 mark. I'm going to turn my cardstock so that the tip of the bottom of my card is in my track. And I'm just going to keep adjusting it until I get it to where I want it to be. Then I'm going to take my cut blade and I'm going to start in the middle versus going to either point, especially at the point. If you hit it with the blade, you're going to probably scrunch it up. And I didn't want to scrunch it up. So now that I've got that cut, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to erase this off so that that's all cleaned up. And now what I'm going to do is you'll see that this folds in like this. So we're going to fold it this way, and then we're going to fold it this way. Okay, so that means that this piece of paper needs to be cut the same way. Now, I'm going to show you how to do it correctly. When I did it the first time on my sample, I did it wrong, and I will show you how I corrected that. But let me get my fold. Let me see where my bone folder is. Let me get my fold creased. So I have that. And again, paying attention to the fact that I want this to be sliced appropriately. So what I've done is I've turned my paper over to the back side. If you take your paper and you score it 1 1/4 on this side and trim it up, look what happens. Oops, sorry. It doesn't fit. 1 1/4, trim it up. It doesn't fit. It goes backwards. So what I had to do with this card, and honestly, it worked out just fine. What I had to do with this card is I just had to reverse it. So instead of my fold being on this side, like I wanted it to be, it's on this side. And honestly, either side works out fine. So hopefully I didn't confuse you, but my point is I want to use this paper on this piece. So I'm going to measure from the back side 4 1/4, and I'm going to come down to my angle. So let me bring this back in, and I'm going to line this up again. 4 1/4. Here's my point. I'm going to put this down. Make sure I haven't moved it any. And then I'm going to start in the middle again, go in both directions, and now I have this cut. Obviously, it doesn't fit this way. I'm going to have to flip it around. And when I flip it around, now I have the side that I wanted. So that's what I learned. And rather than recreate the card again, I went ahead and created it by flipping it over. So if I had wanted, say, for example, this side, this isn't the side that I wanted, obviously, but I cut it the wrong way. Then what I did is I just turned it around, folded it this way, and now it fit on this side, okay? So if you make a mistake, not to worry, it will work. So now we've got this cut. So let's go ahead and put a few of these pieces together. So I'm gonna adhere this to this panel. So let's go ahead and get that done. Unfortunately, you'll have this video to be able to refer to when you get your kit. You'll have the tutorial that will explain everything, but you'll also have the video that you can refer to kind of help you to remember that you need to flip it over. So now we've got this, and then on this one, this folds in, so I'm going to put this on the front side of my card. So we'll go ahead and get this down. And get this placed. And I want to make sure I get it centered appropriately. My glue gives me the opportunity to just kind of slip and slide a little bit so that I can get it to where I want it to be. And then once I've done that, so now we've got this piece, right? Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to put our inside in. I'm not going to glue it down because what I want to be able to do with my cards is decide, you know, what I want my sentiment to be. But you're going to have a piece of basic white cardstock that you will put on the inside. So you can stamp the inside, or you can put whatever sentiment, write your note, whatever. Okay, so let's move this off to the side for just a second, and now we're going to do some stamping. So I'm going to bring in my arch, and because we are stamping on with photopolymer stamps, let me move my notes out of the way, and I'm just going to fold this in half. This is just a piece of scrap. I don't throw away my computer paper that is no longer being utilized because it had something printed on it. I use it for my scrap paper. Okay, I'm going to stamp my sentiment in Melon Mambo. And we're going to stamp, hope your birthday is dino-mite. So let me find that stamp. We've got this stamp, hope your birthday is dino-mite. And let me just go ahead and get that inked up. And then I want to put it up at the top. And let me see, I'm going to try to get this straight. Hopefully I won't get my head in the way. But I'm going to go ahead and stamp it down right here. There we go. Hope your birthday is dino-mite. Let's close that up. Bring in my chamois really quickly to get that cleaned off so I don't have to worry about it. And then the other thing, I'm going to set this off to the side, and I'm going to bring out my other piece of basic white, and we are going to stamp our Brontosaurus. So here's our Brontosaurus. We're going to be doing some coloring with the Stampin' blends. But first of all, I need my Memento black ink. So we'll go ahead and do that. If you are watching, I know I've changed my time and it's taken a bit of time for people to get used to the fact that I am on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock instead of Thursdays at 7 o'clock. But now that I'm retired, it just makes sense for me to do it during the day versus do it during the evening. So if you are watching, please do say hello. Ask me any questions that you've got. Let me know where you're watching from. And also know that you can comment later and just say you were watching the replay. But I'll also have this uploaded to YouTube, so you can watch it on YouTube. So you've got a number of different options. All right, this guy is going to wear a party hat. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp the party hat while I'm at it. And then we'll get everything colored at the same time. I'm going to stamp off for just a second. I've been messing with my ink pad. The ink wasn't even, so I took a key card, you know, from like a hotel that I didn't turn back in. And I used it to kind of disperse the ink a little bit better. Just kind of swiped it over. And I feel like I still have a little bit of pooling of my ink when I refilled it, but it's getting better. But when I see that I've got too much ink on my stamp, then it's like, maybe I better test it. All right, we're going to color him in one of my favorite colors because this cardstock, or excuse me, designer series paper works with it so well, is the Melon Mambo, sorry. And then I'm also going to bring out fresh freesia, and we're going to do our dinosaur in that, and then I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use orange and fresh freesia for his hat. So let's go ahead and get him colored in. He should be fairly easy to do. I just kind of have to work around his little scales. I do love coloring. I'm working on some swaps. In a few weeks, I'm headed to North Carolina for Stampin' Up's On Stage, which is our yearly convention. And I'm working on some swaps for that event and lots of coloring. When I designed the card, I wasn't thinking about if I multiply that by 25 cards, how much coloring I'm going to be doing. So what's fun for me is just to put on a fun movie, or at this particular time I had a girlfriend over that was helping me with some things, and so we kind of had a girls' day and girl chat and everything while I spent time coloring. So I'm definitely getting my fix of coloring in, but I do love it. It's very, very relaxing to me. And I love our Stampin' Blends. I'm going to actually add some additional color here just for some highlighting. Whoops, got to get my cap on. So that was the light Melon Mambo. Now I'm going to take the dark Melon Mambo, and I'm just going to kind of follow along some of these lines where he's sitting, and maybe I'll put a little bit down here at the bottom of his tail just to kind of add a little bit of highlight. And then I think I'm going to take some and I'm just going to put it over by his nose and forehead. There's really no method to this. I just look at what where I feel like the highlights would be beneficial and do it. I haven't taken any art classes, so if you're an art instructor and you're telling me I'm doing it wrong, it's just because I'm making it up as I go for me. Maybe one day I'll take an art class for shading, but in the meantime, I just kind of do my thing, and it's fun. All right, so let me put his little scales on, and then I'll color in his hat, and then we'll be ready to do some die cutting so that we can start to assemble the card. Oh, I do have a little bit of fussy cutting to do. So I planned ahead, so most of the work on the cards I'm doing on the first card, and then since you've seen me color and you've seen me die cut, you're not going to see me, whoops. So the other thing, if that happens to happen, try to open up your Stampin' Blends from the flat side where the little dots are. This happens to me periodically. And if you open it up from the flat side where the little dots are, then it will stay, the cartridge will stay in. All right, so let's go ahead and get that done. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little bit of pumpkin on here, dark pumpkin, and we'll be ready to do some die cutting. So there's this little hat. All right, let me move these out of the way. I'm going to bring the set back in. It's hidden underneath my trimmer. So we're going to bring out our brontosaurus die, and we're going to bring out our party hat die. And let me see, do I have any tape? I do. I bring out my mint tape to kind of help hold these dies in place so that I can run them through my little mini cut and emboss. So we're going to do this. Put that down. And then we'll do this one. I do enjoy the stamp sets that have the dies with them, especially when you're creating scenes and things like that. It just makes it fun. All right, so let me make sure I've got this down correctly. I'm going to go ahead and crank him through. I just want to make sure that I have him lined up appropriately. I'm going to scooch that over just a tiny, tiny bit. Okay, let's go ahead and take my top plate, and I think I'm good. We'll run this through. Whoops, got to get it lined up. There we go, I grabbed it. So we'll crank this through. I'm gonna put this off to the side. Oh, he didn't cut there, okay. Well, that's weird, that one moved completely. All right. Not quite sure what happened. I'm pretty sure I put this die down on top of this hat, but somehow or other it slipped. And this guy, he just didn't cut through all the way, which tells me when that happens, and I just wasn't paying attention, so this is my bad. My plates didn't go all the way to the end. So if your plates don't go all the way in, but your die is over the plate, it's not going to connect, and therefore it's not going to get cut. So we're going to do this again. I'm going to pull this out, put my top plate in. Everything is where it should be this time. Sometimes I just need to give my top piece a little bit of a head start. There we go. All right. Do this again. And I'm going to save my hat, and I'm going to show you why in just a second. So now we've got Mr. Brontosaurus cut out. So we'll put him off to the side. So we've got him there, and we have the hat cut out. I'm going to put these off to the side for just a second. And then what I do, it looks like on this hat, I could have done maybe a better job of lining it up. I'm going to go ahead and put these dies back so they don't get lost. I could have done a better job of lining it up. I'm not going to get too nitpicky this time around, but you can see that there was just a little bit of a white edge there, more of a white edge here. A little bit more white edge than I want. I think the tassel at the top is fine, but what you can do is you can take your snips and then just trim it up a little bit, and then nobody will know or be the wiser. Okay, I'm gonna take off that point right there. That's just a me thing. And now I've got my little hat. All right, let's move that stuff out of the way, and we are going to continue to build this card. And what I'll do with this little hat, and I'll refer back to it in just a second, but if I have extra pieces that I'm not utilizing for the cards that I'm creating, you can see I've done this a number of times, I'll just put it inside my stamp set. So when I get ready to create again, I've got something that I can utilize that I've already taken care of. Okay, we're gonna start to build out our arch. And what I wanna do is I want to add some grass. So what I did, and I don't know, I could, if I wanted to, I could show you on this. Let me go ahead and cut my little mushroom out first. So we're just gonna do a quick snip of the mushroom, because the mushroom is going to help to hold my card closed. And then I will show you how I made my grass. So let's go ahead and just do a quick cut on this. not hard, pretty straight. Cutting, get it done. But you can see I'm using the Designer Series paper for my stopper. It blends in with the Designer Series paper that I'm using for the front of my card. So it blends right in like it was supposed to be there. Okay, so now we've got our mushroom cut. And then what I did is I took the Designer Series paper, the scrap of Designer Series paper that I had, and I actually cut some pills, if you will. So I would start like up here, and then I would work my way down on my Designer Series paper, and I could do this. And then that would be one of my hills if I decided to use that. And maybe I will. It's a bigger hill than that other one, right? So let me put this one down. And I didn't want to end with a, what I want to say, an even edge. I wanted it to kind of come down to a point. So now what I can do is I can go ahead and I can glue this down. So let me get these pieces down. I'm going to glue the piece that goes underneath first, obviously. So we'll go ahead and get that down. So we've got one. Scooch it out to the edge. Okay, and then we'll take this one and I'll put it down. Okay. Okay, so now I have my grass for my dino. Now what I can do, and oh, I forgot about I'll bring my cloud in. We're going to work on that in just a second. Let's go ahead and put some dimensionals on the back of my dino so we can get my dino placed. And actually, probably what I should do before I do that is go ahead and put his little party hat on. So I'm going to go ahead, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the top of his head, tiny bit. And then I can bring the hat in, and I'm going to hold it for just a second, and we're going to let it sit there for just a second while it's drying. Now what I can do, I'm going to bring in my silicone mat, and I'm going to turn him over, and while that continues to dry, I can go ahead and I can put some dimensionals on the back of him. And I'm using my mini dimensionals this time around, not for any particular reason except for he's a smaller item, and these dimensionals will fit a lot better than my big dimensionals will. And then I'm going to put one up here at the hat as well. So I think that's plenty enough dimensionals for him. So let's go ahead and get these off. And I use my taker pick to help me pull them off. That one's coming up. Let me put these in the bin. And then I've got a couple more I need to get right here and right here. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring this in. And I'm going to put him so that the hat comes to the right of the dino-mite. Hope your birthday is dino-mite. So I can place him right here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the cloud right here. Now what I did on this one is I inked the edges of the cloud just so that it would show up a little bit better. I inked it in purple. I'm going to do the same thing again, only this time I don't want to use purple. I think I'm going to use blue, which is part of the blue sky, right? So I'm going to look for, I've got some Balmy blue ink here. I'm going to look to see if I've got a Balmy blue dauber. Hopefully I've got one that's close to Balmy blue. This is Pool Party. If I don't have a Balmy blue, let me see which this is. Crumb Cake. Looking. Oh, here. Balmy blue. So what I do is I have a different dauber for each color, and then I just put a little label on it so that I can utilize the same color. So basically what I'm going to do with this dauber is I'm just going to tap it into my ink, and I'm just going to ink the edges of this cloud. Like I said, I did purple the first time around, but after I did that, I thought, you know, maybe I want it to have more of a sky color, since clouds typically are in the sky. So I'm going to go ahead, but I wanted it to stand out as well. So I don't know if you can see how it's very light. Let me bring it up a little bit further so you can see. But I'm just going to go ahead and ink those edges. So we'll get that inked. And there we go. And now I'm going to place it down there. Oh, I like that. I like that blue. All right, so let's put my dauber back. Nothing else I need to do with it. Put it back in, and we'll close up the ink. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dimensional on the back of the cloud. And let me see, I've got lots of used up dimensionals. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to snip off a strip or two of these dimensionals. And let me see, this is the one that's going to be hanging off. So I want to keep the dimensionals closer to the inside of the card, or the clouds, because the other side's going to be hanging off. But I've got that. Okay, we'll pull these off. There we go. And then I'm just going to place my cloud down here, probably right about there. So now we've got our cloud. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually place our dinosaur on our card front. So we are only going to put the dinosaur, I want to center it. I want them centered. But I'm only going to put glue on this side of the dinosaur. So the way that I'm going to be able to mark that is, let me see, I'm going to center this a little bit more so that I've got equal sides on each side. And I think I do this differently every time I do it. But I'm going to take a pencil, because of course I can erase this. But I want to put like a little area here and a little area here where I want to stay within those lines of, let me do this again. I want to stay within these lines with the glue. So I'm gonna do one right here too. And I do very, very light, but it helps me to stay in the lines. So now what I can do is I can go ahead and I can fill this in. This is where my arch is gonna go. And then I will take my amazing eraser and I can erase those lines. But now I can get this lined up again. Goes right here. I'm gonna hold it for just a sec while it dries. And then I don't have to worry about having glue on the back side of this. We've got this. All right, so the high polymer eraser from Pentel is the eraser that I use. I do not use, I love these pencils, but I don't use the eraser on these pencils because it smears. I never have any issues with my high polymer eraser smearing. So basically I can go ahead and I can get these marks cleaned up. Nobody will be the wiser. And I don't have glue where I don't want it. So get that done, get my little eraser pieces swished away. And it's all cleaned up. Yay. Okay. Last thing to do now is to take my little mushroom. So I'm going to put my mushroom probably right about here. And I'm going to put my stopper towards the, or my dimensional towards this side of the dimension, or the mushroom, the toadstool. So we're going to be putting it on this side. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm looking to see. Maybe I'll just use the small ones. I can do a couple of those. So let me go ahead and, I don't have any big ones. I got to cut them all up. So I'm going to put one here, and I'm going to put one here. And I think my little toadstool, maybe not. Maybe I can get it to fit right here. Let me look to see if it's sticking out. Because I want it to be sturdy, because yeah, it's okay. It's good, 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 good. All right, so let me put one more. I'm going to put it right about here. Okay. So now what I'll do is I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to bring it up to where the dimensionals stop, and then I can just tuck this in. So let me go ahead and get the backs off. All right. So we'll bring this up. See where it fits in, right about there. Okay, so now we've got our, this, it pulls out. We've got our card. We can tuck this back in, okay? And it will hold it closed. What you get to decide is, do you want your card to open this way, or do you want your card to open this way? Either way works. It really depends upon where you decide to put your little strip, but either way works. But how fun is that? So we have just one more thing that we want to do, and that is to put some fun bling on it. So I'm going to bring in my glassy dots, and we are going to put some glassy dots on this. So let me see if I can get this off. Maybe I need to use my little putty end, although I think last time I realized I was going to have to crank this up a little bit. So on your take your pick, you do have an end that's got some putty in it, and that putty can be cranked up if you need more of it. But basically what you can do is you can utilize it to help to pick up your dots. Now this one is being a little bit difficult for me. So let me see if I can, let me see what I can do here. I want to get an end that I can kind of scooch it onto. It's on my glass, and my glass doesn't want to give it any space. Okay, so now I actually have it. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to put one up here, and I'm going to grab another one, this little one. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. Since it wants to slide, that's fine. I'll slide it. I'll just slide it right off of my pad, and then I will put it on my card. So we're going to slide this one off as well, and it's going to go right here. Okay, so there you go. We now have our first card done. How fun was that? Isn't he cute? He's just so cute. Okay, moving on to card number 2. Looking at the time. Boy, it goes fast when you're having fun. All right, card number 2. Let's bring in this Stegosaurus. So cute. This one's going to be easy peasy. But I am going to show you another technique. Okay, we have designer series paper. We have garden apple green card base. I have another card base that's going to be the card part of it, if you will. We've got some pumpkin pie that we're going to utilize for layering. We've got a piece of basic white that we are going to actually, I need to trim it down, it looks like, because we're going to do some blending, ink blending on it. I did go ahead and cut and color and cut my Stegosaurus, because you watched me do the Brontosaurus. I knew that probably wouldn't necessarily be something that, you know, I would have to show you how to do on this one. I've got a balloon here, and let's see, I went ahead and I did my rock. All right, I'm going to actually dip into, because I'm not going to do any die cutting with that one. I actually, in my other kit, I have another balloon, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. And actually, I do this when I'm making multiple cards, so you'll see. This will all make sense here in just a second. Let me get my pieces out. I've got a lot of little pieces in here. All right, there's a balloon. Okay, I'm gonna pull out my Stamparatus. This is, I forgot to pull it out when I was setting up, but this is the Stampin' Up! Stamparatus that we no longer sell, and I'm sorry, but if you have a stamp positioner, this technique will be a lot of fun for you guys. All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to, I need to pull this out too. I'm going to go ahead and do my balloon first, since I've got my Stamparatus out. So when you are doing a lot of cards, you're mass producing cards, what takes the time is you have to stamp, and then you have to color, and then you have to cut, and you have to stamp, and you have to color, and you have to cut. Whereas I can go in and I can stamp or cut balloon, 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 balloon. Just crank them out. I don't have to line anything up. This was a piece of white scrap, and I just cut a bunch of balloons. Then what you do is you save one of those as your template. And it might be easier. Let me see if I can do this. Well, maybe not. All right, I was going to see if I could use a darker color for this. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and, so that you guys can see better, I'm going to line my template up right here. And once I get my template in place, I can put my magnets down. So now my template's going to stay in place. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to take your balloon that you die cut and you're going to place it down. Now what I can do is I can go in and I can grab my balloon stamp right here. So I'm going to take my balloon stamp and I'm actually going to line it up on my balloon that's already been cut. Got to get my fingers out of the way though. Line it up. I'm going to get my head in the way. Sorry, just a second. I think that'll do it. It's sticking to my fingers just a tad, which then is moving it around, and I don't want to do that. But once you get it lined up, everything's good. Let me bring these in just a little bit. Maybe it won't stick to this quite as much. I'm trying to get, well, first of all, my template moved. So we're going to start again. I promise this is easy, easy peasy. Let me do this one. I'm going to put it down here. Put my balloon back in. It just stuck to the stamp and then it moved. So let me go ahead and get this back down again. Once you get it lined up, good. All right. Then what you're going to do is you're going to close up your Stamparatus or your stamp positioner. Now what I can do, and you can see it's sticking to my balloon. I'm going to take my balloon. I'm going to put it back in. I'm going to take my Memento black ink, which happens to be right here. I will ink up my balloon. Okay. And then I can press it down. Now my balloon's been stamped. Now what I can do is I can color in my balloon later if I choose to. But now I have my balloon. And what's fun about this is once you have this all set up, you just keep putting more balloons in. You just keep putting more balloons in. So we're going to do this again because I have balloons on my other card. So we're going to do this again. And of course I moved it. The other thing that you can do is set this up. I don't want to lose that balloon. I'm going to close my ink so that I don't. But rather than putting your balloon down, you can also take and line your balloon up in the center of your opening. Get it centered as best you can. So I'm going to leave it like this because I'm going to actually be doing this again. So this will come back in just a second. All right, but now we have this, and I do need to do some coloring on it. So it's up to you whether you want to do your coloring and then die cut, or if you've got a lot to do, maybe you just go ahead and do your die cutting and then coloring. So, and I can use my tweezers to kind of help me out to hold this in place, but I'm just coloring in this balloon really quickly. So we'll go ahead and get that done. Easy peasy. I'm going to turn it. I just have fat fingers and they are always getting in the way. So my tweezers are like my best friend. They do a lot of, they help me out a lot. So let me go ahead and get this on. I'm just going to do a little bit of highlighting right here on these little highlights that were part of the balloon. And now my balloon's done. Now, I could have done the same thing here and cut it out, but I wanted to show you how that works. All right, so let's start to pull this card together. First of all, you've got your Granny Apple Green card base. Then you've got a piece of, this is 6x6 designer series paper. This is how it comes. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna score it at, let me see, I scored it at 2. You can't see the score, but I promise it's there. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna fold it, all right? Now, this will fit inside of your designer series paper. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this glued down. Okay, we'll get that down. And I'm going to double check to make sure I get it centered the way that I want it. That looks good. Good. Okay, so we've got this piece done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some ink blending. This piece needs to be cut down just about 1/8 of an inch on each side, but I think I'm going to do it after I get done with my ink blending. So I'm going to bring out 2 of my blending brushes. We are going to blend the sky, and we are going to blend in the grass. So when you look at this piece of cardstock was the basic white cardstock, and we built in the grass and the sky. Now, what I'm going to do is I have a piece of Post-it note, and I don't want my grass to be, what do I want to say? I don't want my grass to be level, straight across. So there's a number of things I can do, but since I've got this piece, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, and I used this piece before and I just turned it this way, and that was fine. I had to be really careful not to go above that. Well, since I've already used this piece, I'm going to show you that if you take a little bit of Stampin' Seal, just a tiny bit, because I don't have any adhesive on the back of, this was a Post-it note, and so all my adhesive was on the back of that part. But I'm going to reuse some of these pieces. So now what I can do is I can figure out where I want my grass to go. And I'm going to go ahead and get this lined up. Do I want it to be, I think I'm actually going to do a little bit of tearing, because I feel like I must have done a little bit of tearing on that, because I don't want too much of a high and a low. So we're going to do this again. I'm going to bring this in. And again, it's what works for you. So we've got this. And now what I'm going to do is, normally you would bring it up to this edge, but remember this is the edge that is open. And I don't want to do it on an open edge. Hold on a second. I'm going to get this lined up again, because I want to make sure that it's covering all my white. And I keep turning it. Okay, so now it's in place. So now what I'll do is I'll take my Granny Apple Green. Of course, I'm doing it on my glass mat, so I can tap this off. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it this way. So I'm going down on the edges so that I'm not bringing them up. And I'm going to use up the rest of that. Grab some more, and you just keep doing it until you get it to the color that you want. So I'm doing it in a circular motion, but I'm not coming up because I don't want to, see, if you do that, then of course you're going to pull it up. So I'm going to go ahead and do it like this. I'm not coming up to the edges this time around, but you want to just go ahead and blend it in. Add as much color as you're comfortable with. So now I've got my grass. Okay, there we go. I can take this off now. I can use my adhesive eraser. If there was any of that left over, I can take my adhesive eraser to it, and I'm going to pull that off. And I want to do this because now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be blending on this again, only this time I'm going to use the blue. So I've got all of that adhesive off. I'm going to bring in my chamois that came with the glass mat, and I'm just going to clean this off. Easy peasy cleanup. And this time I'm going to bring in my blue brush, and we are going to do the Balmy blue. And basically, I don't really have anything to cover that up. So I'm going to be bringing my Balmy blue down up to the grass, but you'll see there'll be like a little light area to it. Now, what I might do is utilize this to hold it so that I don't get ink on my fingers in the ink. So I want to make sure I get a good coating of my blue. I don't want to come all the way down because I don't want a line. If I come straight down, it's going to make a line, and I don't want that line to show up. So basically, I'm going to do this part of it, and then what I can do is I can start to bring it down into my grass, but I'm not going to go all the way into the grass. So there's going to be like this fine white line, but you'll see as I continue to do this. But I definitely want a dark sky, not real dark, but I definitely want, you know, my sky to look like a sky. I'm going to be putting a I am going to be putting a balloon in the sky, but I'm also going to be putting a cloud in the sky. And I'm going to show you that this cloud is not really intended to be a cloud, but for this card, it is a cloud. So you can see I'm barely coming down into my grass. I'm leaving just a little bit of a little kind of a white haze, if you will. I think I'm going to go through this one more time, and then I'm going to call it good. I love doing ink blending and getting my backgrounds. And it's so easy with these brushes and with the glass mat. So let me go ahead and I'm going to clean off the glass mat again. It's harder to see the blue than it was the green, but I want to make sure I get this all off. Okay, I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. And now what we can do is we can start to build this card. So let me get this put away, and then for some reason I put my chamois out of its case, so we gotta put that away. And let's see, one thing that I am gonna do is I am going to, do I have my rocks here? Yeah, I did do my rocks. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna figure out where I want my rocks to go. Now my rocks, I had the same situation. When I cut this out, there was just a lot of extra white where I didn't want it because I didn't get it leveled out correctly. If you don't take things down, they tend to move a little bit, and sometimes I get in a hurry and I don't get things cut quite the way that I want them. But I don't worry about it because I can always trim things up. So I'm going to trim away that extra white. I prefer it better when I hit the mark and then I don't have to do the trimming. But if I don't hit the mark, I can do some trimming and it's all good. All right, so what I'm gonna do is a couple things. I want to stamp some grass around my rock. So we've got, let me find my stamp set for this Darling Dinos. What I've done is I've created a mask. So I did this on a piece of Post-it note. I've used it a number of times, but I keep it inside my stamp set, so I always have it available. And I'm going to put this mask right over my rocks. So I want my rocks to go right about here, I think. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my stamp. That is the grass. I'm going to open up my Granny Apple Green again. And basically, I'm going to hold this down where I want it to go, and I'm going to stamp, if I can keep my fingers out of the way, I'm going to stamp some grass. So I'm going to put one there, and I'm probably going to put another one. Let me see if I can pick this up without messing it up. Another one here, and then I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to put it over here. See, my fingers get in the way. All right, so I've got grass here. Now, what's going to happen is it looks like the grass is behind my rocks. but I didn't want to stamp on my rock. So that's why I put the mask on the rock. And then what I can do is I can take the mask off of my rock. So pull this off. And now I'm going to glue my rocks down. And I can glue my rocks down, and the grass is behind the rocks. So let me put my mask back, because I will use that again. And we'll just take some glue and we'll glue this down. Now, I do need to trim. I forgot that I need to trim this card. So before I do anything else, I need to go in and I'm just going to measure this. I'm sure it's about 1/8 of an inch, but this is 4 5/8. 4 5/8 by 3 1/8. So bring in my trimmer. And let's see, maybe I'll do it from this side. So 3 1/8. Did I do that right? I didn't measure that right. Did I say 3 1/8? It is 2 5/8. I was looking at the number. 2 5/8. So 2 5/8 is going to be right about here. So let's go ahead and trim this off. Okay. And then I'm just going to trim from the sky. So this was 1, 2, 3 1/8. So I'm going to go to 3 1/8. Trim that down. All right. It's all good. Now this should fit right here. Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and start putting these together. So first off, we've got our card base that we're going to fold this in half, and I'm going to burnish it. And the orange will be centered in it. So let's go ahead and do that. So we've got that. Get that centered. Scooch that down just a little bit. I think this is okay. And then we'll take this one and we're going to put it down. Just that 1/8 of an inch that we need. Okay. Now, I told you about the cloud. This die is actually more of a bush, for like bushes around my rocks. But creative, what is it called? Creative Freedom allows me to take this bush and now I've made it a cloud. So I'm going to put it up here in the sky. Oh, actually I glued it down. Oh well, I had it on dimensionals before, but it's okay that it's glued down. We're going to put dimensionals behind our dino, our darling dino. And let me see, I've got all these pieces that I need to use up. So I'm going to snip up some of these. Okay.
Done with my meetings if you're still.
I'm recording. Thank you. Sorry. My husband's done with his meetings. We are planning the temperature today is supposed to get up to 65. So we decided that today would be a perfect day to clean the hot tub since we've had frigid weather for weeks. We've had snow. It's been really difficult to get in and take care of the hot tub the way that it needs to be taken care of. So we are, after I get done recording here, and I'm just plugging in these, I'm putting more dimensionals down here than I probably need, but I want it to stand up really well. Anyway, when I'm done recording here today, he and I are going to go out and get our hot tub all nice and clean. Since the weather's getting nicer, we can start to use it again. We did use it a little bit, but gosh, when it's that cold out and there's snow on the ground, it's just not, I don't know. It's not that the hot tub isn't great. It's getting from the door to the hot tub, because you've got to go through the snow and you've got to get through the cold, and the cold actually is not so bad when you get out of the hot tub because you're still warm from the hot tub. But anyway, I'm excited to start using it again. We want to get it cleaned up. Okay, so our little stegosaurus is going to go right here. But before I put, I'm going to call it a her. Oop, don't go there. I'm going to look at my, I'm looking for a very fine pen. I thought I had one here. I want to do a, gosh, these are a little bit more, this is gray. All right, well, I'm just going to do a little bit of a string so that I can put my little stegosaurus on a balloon. So I'm going to take this line, I'm just going to draw it up like that. Okay. And then I can go ahead and put her down. She's actually going to cover up some of the fun grass that I did, which is fine. And I want to make sure that her tail doesn't go over the edge, the fold, even though it's going to be on the card. I don't want to take it over the fold, because if I do that, then she won't open correctly. Okay, the tail's going to get squashed. So let's go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to put a dimensional on the back of this balloon. So let me do another one of these. And then all we'll have to do is put our balloon or our card on the main piece. So let me go ahead and we got our balloon down here. So isn't that cute? We've got that. Now we'll bring this in, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to center this. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and I'm going to put glue on the back, and we're going to center it right in the middle. Oh, you know what I did? Maybe I need another piece. I'm going to center this right in the middle, top to bottom, edge to edge. This will open up, it'll go down like this. And then I can kind of look at this a little bit better to make sure I've got it even. And then the last thing we need to do is we need to put, I'm going to put some embellishments on it, but I don't have the white piece to go in here. In fact, probably that white piece that I actually cut down was the white piece that needed to go in, which then makes me wonder where the white piece went that I would have used it for the front. But you're going to want to cut down a white piece for this. So we're going to put this in. We're going to bring back our fun little dots. And I was using the blue dots. So because these are being a little fun to work with, I'm going to just slide them off like this. This works out a lot better if I slide this down. So I'm going to do another big one, maybe right here. Whoop. Slide, slide, slide. They're really, I'm adhered to that. And then I'm going to put another one up here. So, and again, I'm just going to put it where I want it to go. And then we're just going to slide. And then I can put it right here. Okay, there we go. We have card number 2. Gosh, I love those bright colors. Isn't that fun? All right, one more card. We're a little bit over on time, but we were doing a little bit more today with the fun folds and such. So the good news is that this last one should go fairly quickly, but I hope you guys are enjoying yourself. All right, let me move some of my mess out of the way. We are using Poppy Parade, a piece of white cardstock, a piece of designer series paper, and then I have all these pieces here. So here is, we're gonna do a background of the white dinosaur, the dinosaurs that we stamped on these little white squares, and I went ahead and did 2 of them already. because you've seen me stamp and you've seen me do it. So I'm gonna do my Stegosaurus just to show you what I'm doing. I have a piece of basic white that I used my stylish shape dies. I love my stylish shape dies, so I was able to get my label cut there. I went ahead and I stamped the happy birthday in Versamark ink and embossed it in white. So we're gonna finish up with that. And then look, here are some balloons. We've got 3 balloons that we're gonna stamp and color. So let's go ahead and get that done first. And then we can go ahead and move forward. So this is my square for my Stegosaurus. So we'll get him cut here in just a second. Let's bring out my Stamparatus again. I'm gonna move these guys out of the way, this out of the way, bring in my little balloons, and we are going to mass produce these balloons, and then we can color them in. All right, so Memento ink, stamp, 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 and then we're gonna, okay, balloon number 1 off to the side. Bring this in. Place it in the template. Once it's in, stamp, 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 and balloon number 2. And I'm going to use this to maybe help me pull it out because I don't want to move my template, right? There it is. Okay, there we go. Got it out. All right, take balloon number 3, place it in. And stamp. Okay, there we go. We've got all 3 of our balloons. We will color them in just a quick second. Let me go ahead and clean this up quick with my chamois. Put this away for the moment. And let's see, I'm going to bring in, which I'm going to make a granny apple green balloon. I'm going to make a orange balloon, and I'm going to make a Melon Mambo balloon. So let me grab these colors real quick. Okay, let's do these quick. Let's do our orange. And again, I'm just going to use my tweezers to help me with the coloring part of it, just to hold it steady while I color. Now, I'm coloring on my glass mat. If I were to get messy and get my alcohol markers on my glass mat, the easiest way to clean it up is to use alcohol. So I always have alcohol on hand so that I can just go ahead and clean these up if I need to. So I'm just going to do a little bit of some highlighting on these. So that balloon's done, and we'll move on to the next one. We've got our green. Let me see. I want to do the light. So that's dark. So let's go ahead and do the light. I prefer to color with the bullet tips. The brush tips are if I'm utilizing like a big area, but for these smaller ones, I just feel like I have more control if I use the bullet tip. Side here, and then we'll do a little bit of the dark again, and then we'll call this one good. So I'll turn this around. All right, and last but not least, get these out of the way. We're gonna do our Melon Mambo. I love Melon Mambo. So let me get this side. And get this colored in. Turn it around. And then we'll do our Brontosaurus real quick. Probably could have done that ahead of time, but I did want to kind of show you what my thought process was with these stamps and these little squares. So let's just do that. There we go. Okay, balloons are done. Check. Now we need to stamp on our label, and we are going to stamp. I'm going to bring this in like this. We're going to stamp roar means, and then we're going to say happy birthday and dinosaur. So I'm going to do that in, let me see, I lost the lid to my my Memento black, so I'm going to be very, very careful on my Memento black till that lid pops up. I don't know where it's at, but in the meantime, I am looking for Melon Mambo. I don't know what I did with that lid. See, that's why you should put lids on as soon as you're done using them, because either you're going to get your hand in the ink or you're going to lose the lid. Of course, you can't lose the lid on the regular inks, but I'm like, really? I lost the lid to my Memento black ink? That's just nuts. Oh, here it is. Finally, found it. All right, got that done. That was making me nervous. Okay, let's clean this up real quick. And we're going to stamp the dino. And then we can start to assemble. So let's bring this in. And I already have Dino out, so let's bring him in. And my Memento black ink. Okay, and I'm gonna get him, I need a headshot of him. I'm gonna bring my scrap in because I'm gonna be stamping off. So let me bring my scrap in. And let's see, let's stamp him right about here, I think. Okay, and you can see I'm still having issues with my ink being a little inky in some areas. Let me see, can I do this? Yeah, I'm going to ink him again because I just don't like all that extra ink there. So let me get this, and we're going to do it again. And I'm going to put him right here. Love the fact that there's two sides there. Oh, much better. All right, so let's go ahead and get him colored in, and we can start assembly. So he's going to be green and fresh freesia. So I'm going to bring in the green. And get him done. These dinosaurs are so cute. I don't know if I mentioned that for my grandson, little boys right around the ages of like 3 and 4, I don't know, maybe even later, but he was turning 3. Anyway, no, he was turning 4. 4. He knows the names of all these dinosaurs, and it's just amazing to me. So anyway, I had so much fun creating a dinosaur card for him, and of course he loved it and was able to tell me that it was a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Excuse me. So I did him in purple, fresh freesia instead of an orange. You know, I try to shake it up on my cards. So I'm not doing them all exactly the same way. These pretty much followed suit. All right. So let's go ahead and we're going to get this piece adhered to the white. Okay. Get about 1/8 of an inch border on each side of that. Okay. Looking at my thumb, obviously I got into the ink somehow, some way. Never fails. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to adhere this to the Poppy Parade card base. So I'm just going to go ahead and utilize these leftover ends so I don't have to cut anything. I'll just use these and do that. And then I've got some more. There you go. See, got more Where are my snips? Cut off a few more of these. Get my ends. And then I'll do something in the middle. I've got an end here, an end here. And I'm going to attempt to, oh gosh, it's going to be hard. You know how I am about getting things lined up. I always have issues. But I don't really want to, I don't mind putting glue on my dimensionals when I got little round dimensionals. But there's a long line of these dimensionals here. I feel like I'd be painting the card with dimensionals or with glue. So I'm going to attempt to get this adhered correctly the first time. And it looks like not great, but you know what? It's gonna work. It is going to work. I have a little bit more on the top than I do on the bottom, but I'm not worried about it. Okay, let's get our dinosaurs adhered to their little back bases. So we have our Stegosaurus. Get this adhered. Slide her around. Make sure it's even. Then we'll do our Tyrannosaurus. He's a friendly looking Tyrannosaurus. These are darling dinosaurs. They're not scary dinosaurs. All right, let's get him down. Okay, we got him. And then we'll do our Brontosaurus. Oop, wrong one. And get him down. All right. Okay, so first things first, we are going to go ahead and put her down because we're going to pop the other two up. I call her a her. She just looks like a her. I don't know. I could say they're, well, I don't know. I don't know why she looks like a her. Maybe because her little crown looks like a bow or something. I don't know. I don't know. It just feels like he's a she, she's a he. All right. Let me put some dimensionals on the backs of this. There we go. And we got another one over here. I'm using up all these extras. That's good. And let me see. We'll just put one in the middle. Like that, like that. So I'm not, no method to my madness. I'm just doing it. Okay, so get these down. Okay, and then we're going to take him and maybe put him probably right about here. Okay, and then we'll take and put some more. Then I'm going to draw my lines for my balloons. I didn't do that ahead of time, but that's okay. I've just got to be careful when I do it. So, use some more of this. And let's see, do I have like a little, do this one. Yep. All right. Okay, now we've got our little Brontosaurus here, and I'm going to put him probably right about here, I'm guessing. Now let's go ahead and put some dimensionals behind our balloons. There we go. I'm going to use these little ones just because it's going to be easier. So each one gets 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, now before I put them down, well, I have to figure out where I want them to go. This green one's going to go over here. So I need to draw in a string. Okay, there's a string for that one. He's going to go there. And then this one is going to, boy, I didn't move him over very far, did I? All right, this one is going to go, I think he's going to go up here. So I'm going to go up high. Okay, that one goes there. And then I don't think I need one for the other one. So let's take these backings off. And I'm going to put this balloon up here. And then I'm going to put this balloon right here. He's going to go right there. Okay, and then I'm going to, oh, we got to do our roar means happy birthday. So let's take our snips and we're going to actually, let me see, I'm going to cut a little bit of this off and we're going to cut banners. So into the center and then from the end in, from the end, pointy end in. So we have a banner on this side. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. That's a little long. So I'm going to cut center here and then end to the center and to the center. There we go. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some glue and I'm going to put it just right down the middle. And then I can take this and center it between the two, and I want to make sure I have it centered so that I've got the same amount of banner on each side, I think. So we'll let that set for just a second. Oh, somebody's watching. Thanks for the like. Okay, and then let's see. Put this balloon right along here. Okay, and then I'm gonna actually, do I want to pop this up? No, I'm gonna glue this down. So let me get, let's see, glue on this side. All right, and then I've got some dimensionals on the back of the balloon that will hold that up. I think I need probably another dimensional under there though. Looks like it's gonna be a double dimensional. Hey, Gianna, thank you for saying hello and for joining me. I'm almost done, but I hope you are here for a good part of it. But thank you so much for saying hello. All right, now all we have to do is add our bling. And let me see, I'm gonna bring it in, and this time we're gonna use the pink. So let me pull this out again, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna slide these off since they were being a little difficult. This one's gonna go right here. There we go. And then I'm gonna do a little one. See if I can get this slid off. Oh, there we go. Much easier. All right, there we go. There is card number 3. Isn't this so cute? I love these dinosaurs. Love these dinosaurs. So let me bring these in. We've got card number 3 that we did, and then we have card number 2. That was a fun fold. Obviously, the fun folds and the coloring takes a lot more time, but so fun and so cute. And then we've got card number 1 that we did, and we just kind of switched the way that they opened, but either way works out fine. Don't forget on this one to put a piece on the inside so you can stamp your message in there as well. So apologies for going long tonight. Thank you, Jana. I think they're super cute too. I love these guys. But thank you so much for being here today and staying with me. I apologize for going so long, but sometimes the cards just require a little bit more time and effort. So I will see you guys next Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Don't forget, this is the last week for celebration mystery boxes. Go check out my website for the Create Happiness Club and the Crafting Happiness Monthly Club. And if you have any questions or I can be of any assistance, don't hesitate to reach out. So I will see you guys. Let me see. I'm going to come back and say hello real quick. I will see you guys next time. Thank you again. Bye, everyone.